Are you a life coach who wants to make a difference in the world? Do you want to share your wisdom, passion, and experience with others? Do you want to grow your business and reach more clients? If you answered yes to any of these questions, then you need Life Coaching Today. Life Coaching Today is the largest platform on the web for life coaches, therapists, and hypnotherapists who want to enhance their visibility, gain exposure, and connect with clients. Life Coaching Today is more than just a directory. It's a network of opportunities. By joining Life Coaching Today, you will get access to a magazine where you can be featured and connect with over 30 million subscribers. Be a guest to our podcasts with over 55,000 subscribers. A directory where you can showcase your profile, services, and testimonials to thousands of potential clients. And that's not all. Life Coaching Today also offers a free 30-minute coaching session on Tuesdays and Thursdays, where you can be coached or meet your next client. A flexible pricing plan where you can choose the best option for your budget and goals. A dedicated customer service team where you can get help and guidance whenever you need it. So what are you waiting for? Join Life Coaching Today and take your life coaching career to the next level. Visit www.lifecoachingtoday.com and sign up today. Life Coaching Today, the largest portal on the web connecting coaches, therapists, and hypnotherapists.
Hey everyone, good morning. I don't know what is going on. We have some real technical issues out in the middle of nowhere. Of the world.
Are you a life coach who wants to make a difference in the world? Do you want to share your wisdom, passion, and experience with others? Do you want to grow your business and reach more clients? If you answered yes to any of these questions, then you need Life Coaching Today. Life Coaching Today is the largest platform on the web for life coaches, therapists, and hypnotherapists who want to enhance their visibility, gain exposure, and connect with clients. Life Coaching Today is more than just a directory. It's a network of opportunities. By joining Life Coaching Today, you will get access to a magazine where you can be featured and connect with over 30 million subscribers. Be a guest to our podcasts with over 55,000 subscribers. A directory where you can showcase your profile, services, and testimonials to thousands of potential clients. And that's not all. Life Coaching Today also offers a free 30-minute coaching session on Tuesdays and Thursdays, where you can be coached or meet your next client. A flexible pricing plan where you can choose the best option for your budget and goals. A dedicated customer service team where you can get help and guidance whenever you need it. So what are you waiting for? Join Life Coaching Today and take your life coaching career to the next level. Visit www.lifecoachingtoday.com and sign up today. Life Coaching Today, the largest portal on the web connecting coaches, therapists, and hypnotherapists.
Ooh, all right, everyone. I apologize. Good morning. This is Kadada Esmera Gray with Life Coaching Today Presents. Thank you for staying with us or joining me this morning. We are having super duper tech issues. So I do apologize for that. If you are watching me online on my Facebook Live, I have no idea if my Facebook Live is live, if it's living, as they say, but we are going to carry on. I am up in the mountains, foothills, something of Texas. And right now, it is so pleasantly beautiful. It is so pleasantly quiet. I can't even tell you all how restful I have been at a place called Camp Lucy in Dripping Springs, Texas. And so beautiful. I am up here for a retreat, not a conference, a retreat for a bit of respite, rejuvenation, connection with people that I just love so very much and made new awesome friends that I love. Sometimes you don't realize what you need until you are standing in the midst of it. And sometimes, yeah, I forget that. And these last few days have literally been coming together with my tribe, if that makes sense to everybody, right? Like sitting with like-minded people, just having a space to be with. If you are into restorative justice practices, I'm going to say this, that the most basic thing in my mind is leading with your value system. And I am blessed to have been in concert with all of these players. And I'm going to do a show one day because right now it is it's 6:22 in Texas. Otherwise, I would have had some of the awesome crew members here with me in the room. But y'all, people got to sleep. And I know they were hanging out last night, right? As they should have been. So I am just, yeah, I love it. I'm just gonna keep repeating myself to say this enough that it is so relaxing and restorative to be in concert with like-minded people who have the same thought processes that you do, especially during this time. And we were discussing things like, politics always seeps its way into everyone's conversations. It doesn't matter. I don't care how people try, but in my mind, it always pops up. And so for me, to have people who are just heartbroken um, about the state of America, the state of the relationship that we have with each other, and how is it that we cannot get along. That is one of the major things that we were talking about. Why is it we just can't come together? And so if you've never been in a restorative justice kind of world, we sit in circle, and that circle is so powerful, where people get to be who they are and they live in a space of truth and honesty. So more information about restorative justice to come, because part of my crew were some of the founders, people who have been in doing this work over 30 years. And I feel the necessity um, to shout out two women in the group who've been doing the work 30, 40 years, and they have been. Oh, they're out in Minneapolis. And y'all, I don't know much about Minneapolis except for Prince was out there. But, these are women that really entered into the space, trying to heal, trying to get people on the right path, trying to get the idea of being so punitive out of our our ethos, right? Because I feel like in the air that we breathe in the United States, we're highly punitive. But, one said that she kept talking about her experience right after George Floyd died, and she has a relationship with George Floyd's girlfriend, and so it was just powerful, y'all. So y'all gonna hear from Miss Gwen and Miss Jamie probably in September, because they're an hour behind. But I love it. I love it, except for the bugs, y'all, because they got some bugs out here I've never seen in my life. I don't know what that's all about. But I do want to say one of the things that I also found and discovered up here is Vietnamese coffee. Why didn't anyone tell me? Y'all have been keeping secrets. And I mean, like, literally, I've got Vietnamese coffee on the way to my house, because that was like my Amazon Prime gift to myself. It never dawned on me to have coffee with condensed milk. Y'all, Ooh, my hips, y'all, my hips with this condensed milk. I haven't had condensed milk since I was a little girl, but I am loving it. And even the whole technique, right? Because there's a whole thing. You just can't brew coffee and do that. And so yeah, I'm opening up an Amazon store, y'all, so y'all can see all the stuff that I buy, and you all can join me in this fascinating journey of why Kadada's hips are getting bigger, and it's because of the condensed milk in my coffee every day henceforth. Because your girl is not really trying to be in the gym a lot, so forgive me, forgive me, forgive me. So yeah, out in Dripping Springs, Texas, I am once again journeying. I feel like collectively it's going to be somewhere in like the 40 days and 40 nights of travel since last night. So I'm off again after this, to Manhattan, Kansas to see my baby doll and my son, because I'm flying him out. So, and you know how things just kind of pop in your head. So for me, it was like, oh my gosh, like this is really like the first trip that I'm taking with them, that they're like young adult people, y'all. Like, that's a different feeling. Like, one is 24, I think baby girl is 24, and my youngest is 19. And I'm like, oh my gosh, these aren't little people anymore. They're grown. Um, and so I was like, what a different experience that is. And I'm not gonna lie, y'all, like my 19-year-old is flying by himself, and I made it so that way he flies to Austin so we can be on the same plane, because my child is of the earpod headphones generation, so they don't listen to anything. So I was like prepping him last night. Listen, like, I need you to make sure that you can hear, blah, 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 all those fun things. So I am being the mommy of all mommies, but I just, whew, Lord, my babies, my babies. I'm so excited. And lastly, I'm not gonna lie, like I had a thought process too. I was like, at what age do we stop paying, we meaning parents, what age do we stop paying for our young children, our adult children's expenses, right? Because I know my 19-year-old is not, he doesn't have money like that, but I'm flying kids home and all that kind of stuff. So it is a yeah, it's just an interesting and beautiful space to be in when your young people are they're baby adulting, they're moving into that space. And so we're just moving right along. So Yoruba, thank you for your patience. She is my awesome producer. And we do have Dr. Roz with us. And she is oh my gosh, y'all, I've been talking her up to all of my people here. And Dr. Roz, love you so very much. She is, so Yoruba, I'm just going to give a quick like highlights, and then let's take a break so I can, a quick break. But Dr. Roz is an awesome educator. I'm going to have her tell you more, but I love her because we're going to talk about how it is possible to achieve a debt-free degree. And so we know college expenses are insurmountable in the United States. There are so many reasons for that. We also know that, listen, okay, let me not say this. I'm going to say it this way, that a lot of people take out a lot of student loans to live on, which is adding to the debt. Some people have to take out the loans because that's the only way that they're going to have access to school. But Dr. Roz is going to talk to us about how to create and chart a pathway to a debt-free degree, right? No matter if it's your college degree, if it's your higher level terminal degree, how do we do that, right? And so she works with parents and high school students and middle school students across the United States, giving this wisdom. And then I think what really piqued my interest outside of being debt free, because that is a goal of mine, and I definitely don't have any school debt, but was the idea that she intersects not only her love of people, but the teachings of Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. Into her work as she sees the idea of being debt free wrapped and intersected in all kinds of things around this idea of the culture of nonviolence. So I can't wait. So we're going to go ahead and prep for a break, and we're going to bring Dr. Roz Elizabeth Rosner on with us this morning. And thank you, Dr. Roz, for your patience.
Welcome to Life Coaching Today Presents, hosted by Kadana.
One of the biggest challenges for coaches, practitioners, and hypnotherapists is getting clients. As coaches ourselves, we know how difficult it is on social media to stand out and gain credibility. That is why at Life Coaching Today, we connect coaches like you with clients. It all starts with our directory, where it's possible to create a profile that gets the right exposure with over 12,000 hits a month. You can gain credibility by writing for Life Coaching Today magazine, add videos, be interviewed on our podcast, teach classes in the community, and sell your products directly from our website. Not to mention, we actually connect clients who are actively searching for coaches who can best serve them. So if you are struggling to get clients, have Life Coaching Today help you get more clients. Go to lifecoachingtoday.com.
Hello, good morning, everyone. Welcome back to Life Coaching Today Presents. I am Kadada Esmera Gray, your conflict coach, And I am super excited, y'all. Even though I feel like I'm blind, I can't see. I'm on my cell phone. I feel like I'm hazy, but it's okay. We are here. I showed up. The whole thing is the journey to showing up. We had some technical difficulties, so I hope that you all will catch up and stay on with me this morning. But I just want to welcome one of my newest sister girls that I am loving. And when I tell you all, Dr. Roz, I say this in love, that, when I was like, listen, telling my restorative justice people, I'm like, she just looks like this little, like typical what I've come to learn Southern lady. She just meets all the criteria. I've lived in Georgia for 19 years and I had to figure out what that looked like. But I'm telling you, her spirit is not, y'all, she is not quiet. She is not demure. This is a badass chica. And I'm glad to know her. I am glad to have her in my circle, y'all. And so, Dr. Roz, welcome to my podcast. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Thank you for being up with me this morning. How are you?
Oh, Kadada, first of all, I just want to give you a pom-pom, sister, because you just persevered through all of those tech issues. And here you are in Texas at 6:22 a.m. out there, 6:33 now. And so
Girl.
you just persevered and you just were so unflappable. You were just so calm and you were so kind to Aroba, and you were amazing. So I just
Thank you.
you so much. I am so delighted to be here with your audience. I appreciate you talking me up. I am really excited to really share about debt-free degree and that intersection of nonviolence, and just to be in your space, Kadada. So thank you.
Oh gosh, thank you. No, listen, the one thing about my life is, in life in general, which I hope everyone will learn, is that listen, we're going to be on this journey together. And no matter what, we're going to still keep going straight. we're going to get there eventually, right? We will get there eventually.
Yes.
And so we never know how we end up in each other's lives, right? So that's the first thing. But I know that it resonated with me, this idea of debt-free degree. How do you do that? I mean, my personal story, I have 4 degrees. I no longer have student loan debt. I'm not going to say everyone do it the way I did it, but I mean, like my master's, my ex-husband paid for it in cash. He actually paid off the remaining of my student loans, which was completely low in our divorce settlement. So I'm at 0, and I just want to say 4 degrees in. I think I had less than $20,000 in student loan debt, which is absolutely crazy. But you and I both know, Dr. Roz, that people and our young people and adults that are in school are leaving colleges and universities with like over $100,000 worth of debt plus. And this is for undergrad. We're not even talking about our higher level terminal degrees, like getting your JD or getting your doctorate, whether it's medical doctor or academic. And so tell me, how did you end up on this journey, and what made you come up with this and design your book and everything like that?
So yeah, when you said that about $100,000, 37% of everyone who is carrying student loan debt owes 6 figures. 37%. So yeah, it is a lot. And earlier you were talking about you knew people who had taken student loans and they were living off of it. I have a series it's on my YouTube channel, and the name of the series is entitled "Dang, I Wish I Knew You When I Went to College," because that's what I hear when people say, "What do you do?" and I tell them that's their response. Well, I interviewed a lady who was working for an institution. This is one of my tricks for how to earn a debt-free degree. She was working for an institution, a higher ed institution, so she got free tuition and fees at that institution. Well, she decided she wanted a new house. And so she took maximum amount of loans, but they were unsubsidized. So
Oh,
like, it's like credit card debt, it just
yeah.
accrues, the interest accrues every single month. And so she got so upside down, and she owes over six figures, and it just continues to rise and rise and rise and rise, and so she had a
Uh,
path to a debt-free degree and chose to take the loans in that for that particular degree. So what happened with me, Kadada, is I took a position in 2005 at a higher ed institution, and I was hearing students talking about taking the loans and I'll just figure it out how to pay it off later. And it was, amount like 20,000, 25,000, 30,000. And some of them, at this time, you could take out loans that were far exceeding tuition and
right.
and so
Right.
they were taking the maximum amount. Some of them were, as you said, living off of it. Some of them were partying off of it. Some of them were
Mm-hmm.
buying hoop-de-doo cars, all of that. And I kept saying, you've got to pay this back.
Right.
And so there's been this thread of debt-free degree in my higher education life since 2005. I did not
Mm-hmm.
encounter the King Center and nonviolence until 2018, and that's a
Mm-hmm.
story we can get into if you want to hear that. But there's a family. There was a student in 2005 that I became close with, and I helped him earn a debt-free degree. He now has 12 beautiful children. Baby number
Wow.
12 is named Elizabeth after me, which is such a
I
dear
love it.
and he has 5 kids that are in middle school, high school, or college, and all 5 of them are on this trajectory for a debt-free degree. So it's now second generation, and that's how it works. That's how it works. You start from day one with that baby,
Right.
and you say, I want you to get as much education as you need to be successful in the path that the universe, God, whomever has ordained for you. And we're going to do that debt-free.
I love it. Well, first of all, I'm kind of stuck on 12 children. We need to talk to his wife, and bless her, Jesus. And so I love that. It is, when I talk to people and I share the stories of, well, no, like there's people who do buy cars with their student loans, people who have this idea of, well, I'll pay it off later. And then some people get angry, and I'm going to say some and not all people get angry about, the jobs that come next that don't meet the need of $1,000 student loan payment. And so, and then, also people, if you're unaware, different schools have different kind of debt ratios to them. And so so even things like if you go to a for-profit school, that can be a challenge. So everything like that around schooling is, and how you're going to achieve your school with debt or without debt, because my daughter is debt free. She graduated last year, I think it was, and she's debt free too. And so, Dr. Roz, I would like for you to take us on a journey, because you know how to create a pathway for young people to be debt free in college, or to, get close enough. So, what are your first steps that you encourage parents and children to do?
So that first step is the mindset. We
Okay.
are going to go into debt for education, and this is something that both of my parents really drilled into me. And so what happens too, though, is people will say, okay, Elizabeth thinks all debt is bad. Nope, 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 nope. I'm not a financial planner. I'm not a financial advisor. I'm just saying that there's 46 billion with a B, $46 billion in grants and scholarships out there for us to
Wow.
go to college. I'm not aware of that much money to help me buy a home or to help me buy a car. And so
Right.
there are places for debt, and I understand that. So I want to be really clear on where my lane is and where it is not. So
Yeah.
it is all about a debt-free degree. So I think it is starting from this moment forward. We are not going to go into debt for education. And so
Okay.
like, I had somebody yesterday who said, I was talking to so-and-so, their child is going to college in the fall. They've got a $40,000 bill for freshman year. They're going to reach out to you. Now, I'm going to be completely honest when we have this conversation. it's a little bit like saying, I need to lose 100 pounds in the next month.
Right.
It's just
Right.
not, I just don't have that magic pill that you can take that erases it. But here's the thing. Every single thing that we've ever done that has value takes a lot of hard work, a lot of perseverance. It's not going to happen like this. You know what does happen like this? You walk into financial aid, and financial aid is not there so that Kadada goes debt free. Financial aid is there so that Kadada can get the quickest access to money to continue paying the tuition at the institution where the financial aid office exists. Does that make sense? So financial aid is for the university more than for the student. And so that's what's easy. And that's what happened. You even were talking about how politics can seep in. And for me, politics is, when it really boils down to it, it's policies. Yep. And if you're looking at policies, then if you're looking at what's good for Elizabeth, then what's good for every single person that comes into the United States, if you're only focused there. Now, my focus is actually 8 billion people. And just yesterday, I was talking to my life coach, because I have a life coach also. And I was talking with her, and I was saying that I am heartbroken for the way that all 8 billion of us are treating all 8 billion of us. That's right. My dream, my desire, really the greatest thing that if I could wave a magic wand, it would be all 8 billion people unconditionally loving all 8 billion people.
You're coming with me to the retreat next year. You're coming to Drifting Springs. Put it on the calendar, every July. And it's just a couple of things. It's interesting because Mike's husband and I, who we're still friends, we would have this discussion, right? And we both have higher level degrees about what is good debt, what is bad debt, right? And I think that there's a lot of us who've said that educational debt is good debt, right? Because what we have all been taught is if you go get your degree, you're going to get more money, right? Yes. You're going to beyond the basic of 725, which is still across the country as our basic living wage per hour, or $15. I know I read in Atlanta that a person that is making minimum wage has to work 3.5 full-time jobs to afford an apartment in Atlanta, much less schooling, right? And so I totally understand how, especially first generation students, we just kind of go along and we're just like, listen, give us the money. We want this degree. We'll figure it out on the back end. And I hesitate a little bit because I know that there's a space, and I'm grateful for you for joining in and jumping into the space of how do you block the students and the families from entering into the financial aid office, right? And going like, just give me the money. Because I remember, because the secret is, like you said, nothing is immediate. There's a piece of this puzzle that means the parents and the students have to put in some work.
Yes.
Have to put in the work. And I remember when my daughter Kimani was in high school, she refused to apply for scholarships. Refused. And so I was a frustrated parent, and I, gave the conversation like, listen, if you want to go to this private university, you've got to figure out a pathway, which was, she decided to do, because she had hope. She did 2 years at a community college, or 1.5 years, and then transferred out. So I just want to talk about that. Like, what is the work that you are asking of these young people to do and to engage in? Yes. Because it's work. Like you said, you can't call. I literally was in a group the other day, and a junior in college posted, hey, now college is going to start in like a couple weeks, y'all. So it's not even, we're in July. It's just starting in a couple weeks. And a junior in college, and she was like, hey, does anyone know about any scholarships? And I was like, but it's junior, like you're about to start your junior year and you're just wondering about scholarships right now. So tell us about the work that you start the families and the young people on.
Yes. So I did not coin this term. I've researched it. I don't know who coined it, and so I just want y'all to know it's not Elizabeth. I give credit to whoever coined it, but it's called human algorithm. And this human
Okay.
algorithm is when we are in a space. You can use this in a lot of different applications as well. We're in a space and everybody is saying the same thing. So therefore we think it's true. And so if human algorithm is my mom and dad have student loan debt, my teachers have student loan debt, my cousins have student loan debt, the government is talking about how the student loan debt is a crisis. Even you can read articles that talk about new graduates and they talk about investing. And part of it is, how do you pay off your student debt? Like, it just is pervasive that you get a degree and you have student loan debt. It's just that this is just what we do. And so the conversation with debt-free degree is changing that. The other thing that you mentioned, Kadada, is excuse me so much. The other thing that you mentioned is you were talking about what is good debt. Some of what you're talking about when you get a car, when you buy a home, that is secured debt, that it's something that you can sell to recoup some of that debt. When you get a degree, you can't sell the degree. You can't sell your head. There are some loans that if you still owe student loan debt when you pass away, then that debt passes to your heirs for them to pay off before something comes to them. Yes, exactly. So the knowledge in your head has passed away, but the debt still remains for some loans, not for all of them.
Wow.
And so it is thinking about, here's the other thing. I mentioned the 46 billion. You know, every single dollar that we spend, every single one, is what I call OPM. Do y'all know what OPM is?
No.
Other people's money.
No. I'm still waking up now, Elizabeth. I'm still waking up.
So I have a triangle approach, and it's this is how you achieve a student a debt-free degree. It's SM, which is student money. What is the student input going to be? FM, your friends, your family, your folks, the people you're familiar with. And then it's OPM, which is other people's money. And so every single dollar that we spend is OPM, because either I've exchanged my time and talents to produce something or a service for you to give me your money in exchange for, or I've sat here and inherited it, which I'm inheriting it from somebody else, or, you know, I've either earned it or inherited it, or somebody gave it to me. Does that make sense? So every dollar is OPM. So if you think about it, there's not OPM out there to help you necessarily buy a car, buy a home, do all these other things that you need to do. And if you get banking information, then you have something tangible to sell. And so it's not that the education isn't worthwhile, because education is absolutely worthwhile. It is strategic on how you can figure out for somebody else to pay for it.
Okay, I love it. So
I think Kadada froze, and I I am on her show. So I'm not sure. Oh, there she is. Okay. Hi, love.
I'm back, y'all. I don't know what, and Lord, we're gonna pray over this.
You're doing a great job.
We're just gonna be grateful. I'm gonna live in the space of gratefulness and a lot of gratitude this morning, because you are revealing. I'm still kind of stunned at this idea that there's some student loans that actually pass on to your heirs. That's kind of scary. And we will listen, you guys. This is going to be this conversation with Dr. Roz will probably continue because I think there are so many things about the student loan life that we just need to know more about. And so, but Dr. Roz, I want to ask you, I mean, I almost fell out of my chair the other day when we were talking about this idea of nonviolence.
Yes.
And how you feel that being debt-free, getting this debt-free college degree, explain that to me. Explain that to the audience. This idea of the debt-free degree or being debt-free in general is an act of nonviolence. How did you arrive there? How did you your mindset get there?
So, so I will tell you a quick quote, and then I'll talk about how I
Yeah.
got there. So, my favorite quote by Dr. Martin Luther King is, "A social movement that moves merely people is a revolt,
Mm,
but a social
mm.
movement that transforms people and institutions is a revolution." So, my personal company, exactly, my
We
personal
love it.
is called Love Revolution, and it's
Mhm.
umbrella underneath there is a debt-free degree, and I have a whole talk and coaching program called Leading with Love, something we can talk about later, and then my work for the Martin Luther King Center as a certified trainer. And so when you look at the word revolution, REVOL, love is spelled backwards in it. So if you look at my Love
Mhm.
Revolution logo, it's love, and then you can see it backwards in revolution. So changing the higher education funding industry is a revolution,
Yeah.
because we're taking it from when you sign that, yes, you're going to, take a student loan, somebody else is making money.
Mhm.
Is
Mhm.
Donna, you were saying about Kamani, I completely understand that she didn't want to do scholarships because there's a block to it. There's a human algorithm against it. It's just too hard. We can't do it. Let me tell you something. Paying off $100,000 is hard.
Oh, yeah.
In how we might say, you need to pick your hard. Do you want the hard
Mhm.
after you graduate or before? Because if you pick the hard before, you've got much more time, much more energy. This is why I focus on middle school students, because if you get it in their mindset now in middle school, then they'll breeze through high school, go through college, and every single degree will be debt free. So that's a little bit about how the intersection. My story with the King Center is a little bit more involved. And so I don't know, how deeply you want me to go into that. I will just say, as Kadada mentioned, if you're listening and not watching, that I am a white Southern woman. I grew up in a white Southern bubble. I graduated high school in 1988 from a high school that was 50% Black. And I was taught explicitly and implicitly that there was no more discrimination, that there was no more
Hmm.
racism, that everything was equal and we were all good.
Oh, wow.
Mhm.
Okay.
And so, it was not. And so I read Race Matters by Cornel West. That was
Yep.
not my PhD program. So that's how old I was, y'all. And it altered the trajectory of my life, because I started realizing, yes, my high school was 50% Black, but the college prep classes were not.
Right.
And so then I started thinking about all these different areas of disparity. Now, there are a lot of my white brothers and sisters who can live in that bubble and not have to have this level of introspection. And I'm
Mm.
deeply grateful that I was born with a mind, and that my parents encouraged asking questions and really investigating. And so it began my journey of what I call unlearning and relearning. And
Mm.
I grew up in Athens, Georgia. I currently live in Swanee, Georgia. I did not know the King Center existed until 2018. Had no idea.
Oh,
Didn't even know it
what?
existed. Did not. Mm-mm.
Girl, what? Okay, wait a minute. Hold on a second. Hold on. Not a field trip, not we're just gonna go. Are you serious?
Yes, ma'am. Yes. 100%
Wow.
serious. Yes. Which is how I know that it can happen, because it
Mhm.
happened with me. The only thing, so in early 2018, I started following the King Center on Twitter, and
Mhm.
they announced that they were going to do a 2-day orientation to Dr. King's methodology and philosophy in April. I think I probably was the first one that signed up. I just knew that that's where I needed to be.
Yeah.
And I think it is Bill Gates who says that our identity is where we put the dent in the universe. And me
Mm.
being at the King Center in April of 2018, I knew, like, I heard my higher power say to me, Elizabeth, you will spend the rest of your days teaching nonviolence around the world. but I didn't know what that meant. I didn't know
Yeah.
what that looked like. And so when you ask, like, how did this come about? The debt-free degree thing, it was a theme and a thread since 2005. Well, and really in my own life since I was, since birth. But helping others, it was really 2005. And then understanding, so at the King Center, our definition of nonviolence is that nonviolence is a love-centered way of thinking, speaking, engaging, and acting. So how am I being love-centered with myself? Because it leads to personal and then cultural and then societal transformation. And so that's where the nonviolence piece comes in. Love yourself enough to graduate fully debt-free. And it's a theme in the book. It's this love, like even my website is drroz.love. All of my pages are .love because I want to put love into the world. What does it look like if we have love-centered policies around student loans? What does it look like if we have love-centered policies around people who are unhoused, around people who don't have access to medical care? One of my other favorite quotes by Dr. King is that he would say that I, Elizabeth, cannot be all I am ought to be until you, Kadada, are all you are ought to be, vice versa. And so every time you have this policy thinking that says, I want to vote in such a way, or I want a policy in such a way that benefits Elizabeth and is a detriment to Kadada, it's a detriment to Elizabeth. But as a society, as the world, we don't understand that.
Right.
Because we're constantly trying to divide the line and say, you're in and you're out. In love, in nonviolence, in the beloved community, in the world house, there is no in or out.
Wow, you are speaking to my heart this morning. And I led this morning with, I live in a space of living your values, right? And love is definitely a value. And it makes it hard for us that have a philosophy and have a way of life of interaction with other individuals in the space of love. But here's the thing, right? Like I always tell people, if you have a word, it is important that the other person that you're engaging with, you all have the same definition.
Yes.
And that is the importance of being with like-minded people. But it also means too that we've got to challenge ourselves to listen to the other side that doesn't have the same definition, right? So we can come to a mutual understanding of what it is that we're talking about and what it is that we're trying to achieve. And you wrote this awesome book. So I love to be in the presence of like famous people. And so tell us where your book is. I mean, like, I want all the accolades for you. Like, tell me, I think you were like #1. You were like doing the damn thing. So tell us where we can find your book. It's 8:00. That does not mean that we're jumping off right now. So Yoruba, I have to send Yoruba a present, y'all, because she puts up with me. But tell us about this book. Tell us about being like the super chica on Amazon and Kindle and all of those things.
Thank you.
Tell us more about that.
Yes. So I am on Amazon. You can search Debt-Free Degree or Elizabeth Rosner or Dr. Roz. Either of those will get you to my book. I was #1 new release, and so that was exciting. And I just had a book signing last week, so that was exciting. I've got more planned around the Atlanta area. You can also order a signed copy from my website, and so you can go there and put in your personalization, and I'll mail that all over the world to you. I was looking at my numbers the other day, and I was like, oh, somebody in Canada bought my book, and
Yay.
then and then this other person, I got a review, and this person gave me a 4-star review, which a little bit like, well, I want all 5 stars. I'm a perfectionist, like that, but it was 4-star review, and then I looked at it, and it said, "This is great information, although not applicable to the Nordic system." And in my mind, I was like, ma'am, did I say in there that it was applicable to the Nordic system? And then immediately my nonviolence brain kicked in and I was like, Elizabeth, this person who is thinking about the Nordic system is using yours to say,
Right.
here are some ways that it works. And so
Right.
anyway, to that person, I am delighted that you read the book. So it is, the book is part of it. My publisher says, what are the conversations that you're having over and over and over? What you can do is hand somebody the book and say, go read the book. And now when you have questions, come back and ask me. And so I love that approach. And I have this, and I have this in the book that my vision, my plan is to have a debt-free degree club at every middle school and high school and community in the nation. Now, I'm very, very clear again that I really only understand higher education within the United States. So if it, like the Nordic or in Canada, if it applies, then fabulous. I even had somebody join a webinar one time from Australia. And she was saying that, yes, there were a lot of things about the grit blueprint that applied and scholarships and that kind of thing. However, when I talked about my triangle approach, which is SM, FM, and OPM, she thought I was saying student money, family money, and to go sell opium.
Oh, what?
I was like, it's my Southern accent. OPM. Yes.
OPM. I love, okay. Yeah. You know what? You gotta love people. I love people. And I just want to say just introducing a practice to everyone, right? You talked about getting that 4-star review and then going, well, wait a minute, I want the 5-star, right? That's the overachiever mentality. But what caught my attention was your honesty around reading the review and then going, well, I didn't say it was that. However, you corrected yourself with your value system, right? And one of the values being love. And so I just want to let everyone know, like, there are over 230 values. And we only really talk about 10 of them, interestingly enough. And one day I'm going to post all of those. And so I love how you went, okay, wait a minute, let me get out of myself.
Yes.
To understand where this other person is coming from. And literally, when you see the love from a love perspective or a kindness perspective, you can see that listen, the joy is, hey, they actually read the book, right? Right. Exactly. And so let's not forget that. Right. Yes. And I think that we need to start changing our mindsets, people, from living in the negative space.
Yes.
Because the negative actually gives us a certain feeling, right? We are so conditioned to move into negativity that we forget that, and I say this all the time, like that same rush that you get from negativity, you can get the same rush from happiness and joy, the same exact experience. But we just need to learn how to shift the other way, right? And so I love that you had enough humility as well as maturity to stand in correction and be reflective about that. So I just want to say kudos to you. I know why you are in the circle with me. And so I do want to know more about how we can support you in doing these debt-free clubs. Tell us more about that.
So I have developed a tentative framework. It is based on, if your club meets once a month, here's some information. If your club meets once a week, here's some information. I was even thinking about this because I've got 52 weeks of curriculum, and I probably will throw in some bonuses. So it'll probably end up being about 60 weeks of curriculum that folks can use. And I was thinking, if somebody wanted to do it 6 days a week, they could just do it, a couple of times. I mean, do it every day. There's, we have a declaration. There's always a Dr. King quote associated with it. So how are you thinking about Dr. King in terms of education and a debt-free degree? There are every single one has a Chat GPT or an AI prompt for students to go and, design a, what does it look like when I'm able to graduate debt free? What does that look like? What
Yeah.
does buying a house look like? What does buying a car look like? What does going on a cruise look like? There are people who, they're all different things that open up, in terms of your buying power when you graduate and you're spending money on the things you want to spend money on rather than having to pay something back. And so, and then there's also, and I don't have the quote memorized, but it's essentially that if you hold a feeling or a thought for 17 seconds, then it changes your body chemistry. And so
Ooh.
that's at the beginning of every single time that a club will meet, is somebody will set a timer for 17 seconds and everybody will sit and think about, I will earn a debt-free degree. I will earn a debt-free degree. My degree didn't cost anything, whatever it is that they want to say. And and then you're changing that chemistry, so that then when somebody says, oh, just take the loans and figure out how to pay it off later, you've held this thought for 17 seconds, however many times your club has met, and then you're changing that, because that's how I go into that cacophony of noise. It's the same way with nonviolence, because what happens is everybody wants to point a finger and say you're wrong and I'm right, and everybody again wants to say you're out and I'm in, or you vote R, you vote D, and you're red, you're blue, you're for Israel, you're for Gaza, as if you can't be for both, as if you
exactly
heartbroken for what happened to the Israeli people and what's happening in Gaza. Because my higher education, that's obviously what we're talking about, but my higher power, I believe that I will never look into the eyes of someone that my sweet God does not love. And if I can look in your eyes and see your humanity, then it helps when I can't demonize you. I can't perpetrate violence against you. I have to dehumanize you in order to perpetrate violence. It's why we have all these keyboard, what do they call them? Keyboard cowboys?
Something.
Where it's just like so easy to say on Twitter with some letters, well, you're this and you're that. It would be exceptionally difficult for me to sit down eye to eye or even on Zoom with Kadada and say, you're this, blah, 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 whatever.
You remind me of, we did an exercise yesterday, and at this type of retreat, we don't work hard, right? This is not conferences. This is not take notes. We don't even bring paper and stuff like that to the circle unless you need to write something down to learn and absorb it, right? Because that is a learning style for people. But we were discussing the invisibility of individuals and how somehow we erase the individual, because guess what? That is how I can demonize you. Right? I don't see you. I see all of the isms. I see all the platitudes. I see all of these things that you have said without really seeing you. So we decided to do an exercise around invisibility. So Dr. Roz, I've got a question for you. Hardest question you're going to have for today. Because this was kind of hard for me yesterday when I heard it. So what would you do if you could be invisible for a day? What would you do?
I would figure out some way, somehow, to somehow touch all 8 billion people and turn their hearts so that they saw every individual.
I like that.
Something to switch to helping other people becoming love-centered.
I like it. So mine was a tad bit on the raggedier side of life. I'm just going to say it. Because once again, we live in truth and honesty, and but this is a relationship kind of thing, right? This is the human to human kind of thing. And I said that I would be a fly on the wall just so I could gather enough intelligence to expose how some of these like red pill podcasters, we have all these podcasters that are out here talking about how much they hate women, that kind of thing, and talking about a woman's value and so forth. I just want to be with them, invisible, to gather up all the intelligence about how they're actually truly living their lives and exposing them, because we do have people who say a lot of things for likes and live very differently.
Mhm.
So that was mine. Yeah, that was mine. So, and you know what? I think I actually posted that on Facebook, like as a question, and I'm sure people are like, Kadada has lost her mind, but there's a rhyme and reason to it, right? Because I'm interested to know, like, where you are, like, and so some people actually said some things about violence, and that's okay, because if we're truthful and honest about who we are and where we're at, we can talk about the frustrations that we're having. So thank you for answering that, because once again, that really exhibits the value of love that you were trying to really practice and emanate, and just kind of hope that other people will, that it would resonate with other people and they would start reflecting that, right? Because the work that we do really is changing the mindset of others. And we're
Yes.
hoping that we're changing the mindset of others. So that way, and we always say, if you walk a certain way, if you're walking upright, then people will follow.
Yes.
And that's not necessarily true, right? Because people need to get out of their own way first before they can get to the following. But we want to be an example. And
Yes.
so I love that. In closing, because I've got 7 minutes, and Yoruba said we can go over.
Roba.
Thank you, Yoruba. So if you could give 2 tips, right, to the world, what are your 2 hot tips that you would give to the world to say, this is on this journey, on this path, what would you do?
I would say the first is love yourself enough to earn a debt-free degree.
Mm.
And the second is change your mindset so that every single thing every thought that comes in your head that is contrary to you earning a debt-free degree, you just say that's no longer for me. That you
Mm.
feed yourself with thoughts of debt-free degree. So you can see my Dr. King books behind me. An hour a day is 4% of your day. When people are like, oh, I can't do an hour a day, that's just way too much. 4% of our day.
Okay.
And I choose to spend an hour a day studying Dr. King. Because as I said, I have all these quotes that are his that are related to how you apply it to education. He is such a phenomenal philosopher. You all know this. And so it's, how do I stay with my love cup up here? It's
Right.
keeping my mind in that space. It's
Mhm.
understanding that I don't use the term Christian any longer. That's been a little twisted for some folks, but I say I call him Yeshua. And so every day, I spend time with Yeshua. Every time
Yeah.
I say, you're every day, you're my best friend, you're my shepherd. That's Psalm 23:1. So how is it that you stay in that mindset? It's so incredibly important. It's so easy to resort to the lowest common denominator, or to resort to violence, because it's what we see so often. And as Dr. King said, violence is a descending spiral.
Yeah.
When you think about begin with the end in mind, we are never going to bomb our way into peace. I can't say I stab you and I love you at the same time.
Girl, listen, that's a whole other conversation. That's a whole other conversation.
Right. But when you think about begin with the end in mind, when you think about means and ends, when you think about and I mean, of course, I am so grateful to my parents, so this is not throwing shade at them in any way. However, when I stepped out of line, I was spanked with a wooden spoon. And that seemed to be better than, the belt or the switch. My mom, her mom made her go out and pick out the switch off the bush. And, my husband's mom used Hot Wheels track. And so when my son was on it would whip.
Wow.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
So when my son was, he's 25 now, when he was on the playground, he threw sand at this little boy. And I knew enough not to embarrass him, in right there on the playground. So I took him behind the tree and I spanked him. And I said, that is not kind. That is not how we act to other people.
Mm-hmm.
I inflicted violence on my son to teach him to not inflict violence, because I was doing the thing that I knew best to do. I knew not to spank him in front of all his friends. I knew to make it a one-on-one, but I was still inflicting violence to teach him not to inflict violence. So it's thinking about your mindset, thinking about what it is you're thinking about looking at the eyes of somebody and saying, I love you. You have a spark of divinity in you. You have dignity.
I love it. You're preaching this morning and I'm just receiving all of it. How do the listeners find you? What do you want them to know? What can they do for you? You tell us what you need from us and we are going to support you completely.
Thank you. So Aruba has the link down there. So if you go to that link, you get the first chapter of my book plus invitations to free webinars. I'm actually doing a webinar this afternoon, but you can sign up for as many as you want to. You can come and get ask questions. I've got folks that have been 7, 8, 10 times and they're asking questions at this free webinar. Absolutely fabulous. Obviously ordering the book, which you can do, as I said, a signed copy from my website or on Amazon. And I'm looking for more groups who want to pilot my Debt-Free Degree Club curriculum. So I've got 2 groups and I'm looking for 8 more. I've got one in Washington State and I've got one in California and I'm in Georgia. So it is truly a national movement. And at the very least, even if you don't intersect with me ever again, please commit yourself to you and everybody that you talk to around college education. Commit yourself to a debt-free degree.
Well, I thank you so very much for being here, and I'm going to support you, and I'm going to make so many introductions to you because we have so many places in Georgia that can utilize this, right? And so this is, and let me just say to the audience, you all, when we say groups, it could be a PTA, it could be a church group, it could be a youth group, it could be at a school, it can be within like nonprofit organizations, United Way, NAACP chapters. So we are going to think big and large and wide because this is really a movement that we need to really focus on for our young people. We know with inflation, we know since COVID, financially we have been struggling. People have been underneath and sinking with the amount of debt. And if this can be an option to alleviate those type of stresses for individuals, that's what we're going to do. And we're going to help Dr. Roz do that. And I'm going to come to Swanee because I actually love Swanee.
Yay!
It's just far, y'all. It's just far.
Where do you live, Kadada?
I live in Buckhead. So, but I have a lot of clients out there in Gwinnett land. But let me just say this, I am meditating so much as I close, and thank you all for joining Life Coaching Today Presents, and thank you for dealing with my challenges. And I know that I kind of affected my numbers this morning, but it's okay. We're going to move forward and be merry. But the thing that I am stuck with, and not in a bad way, I mean, literally it is covering me and my spirit right now, is choose your heart. I love that.
Yeah.
So in closing, as it's 8:20, I just want to say, choose your heart. Meditate on that, people. I'm going to be meditating on that. We might have to put it on a t-shirt. So, because I have a t-shirt company, but that's a whole other conversation. But I want to choose. I've got to figure out what my heart is today and figure out what level of energy I'm going to put into that. Yes. Because as you said, it's either going to be hard now or it's going to be hard later. Yep. And so I love that, Dr. Roz. thank you for bringing yourself, your energy, your truth, your level of accountability in this space of not only to nonviolence, but also to expanding that to understand that the way that we are living is not allowing us to live our best life. And in my life coaching world, I believe in a mantra. I say it's mine. I'm claiming it. It is happy, healthy, whole, y'all. And we cannot be happy, healthy, whole if we've got pieces of ourselves that are struggling, that are feeling like we're sinking, that we can't breathe. And that is what I want to close with. So thank you, Dr. Roz. We will chat soon. Y'all, I have got to go pack up because I got to catch a flight again. I'll be home next week. So next week, you guys get to see Zora and myself in my messy house. And so I'll be so excited. I'm so excited to at some point get home that I might even cook and build a relationship with my kitchen once again. So, and learn how to turn on my stove. So thank you all for joining me. Kudada Asmara Gray with Life Coaching Today presents. Enjoy your Thursday and love you all. Thank you. Thank you, Dr. Roz. Thank you, Yoruba.
Thank you for watching Life Coaching Today presents. Hosted by Kudada Gray and produced by Aruba Saad. Our mission at Life Coaching Today is to empower your health, business, community, and life. Check us out at lifecoachingtoday.com. Everyone here at the True Awesome Network would like to remind you to like, comment, subscribe, and spread awesome.